So guys, we are going to be talking about the best game PCs that no one can buy. But before we get into the video, guys, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. It really helps me out. We're really close to getting to 500 subscribers, and that'd be a crazy milestone for us to hit here in the next couple of weeks. So if you guys would be really kind and hit that subscribe button, you would really help me out here. So today, the company that we'll be taking a look at is going to be a company called Microcenter. A lot of you probably have heard of them from other people, but it's a kind of a weird situation with them. Microcenter is a company that just sells computers. They sell computer parts. You can build your own computers. They sell basically anything like you might need for technology-based stuff. It's kind of like a Walmart in terms of size, but it just has so many computers in it. It's like one of my favorite places to go in the world. But one of the really cool things about Microcenter is how good of prices that they have. Most of the time when I end up buying stuff, I just end up going over to Microcenter because even buying online, like searching through PC Part Picker, even like comparing websites to websites, just going to Microcenter and like even the cost of gas it cost me to make like a 30-minute drive out to the place, because again, it's not really close, but it's definitely worth the trip if you are saving this much money on computer parts. And so for reference, these are all of the Microcenters that are available. So you'll have one in Tustin, California, one in Denver, Colorado, two in Georgia, in Duluth, and Marietta, and then you've got two in Illinois, Kansas, Overland Park, Massachusetts, Cambridge, Maryland with Rockville and Parkville, Michigan, Madison Heights, Minnesota, St. Louis Parks, Missouri, Brentwood, New Jersey, North Jersey, and then you've got a bunch in New York. You've got Westbury's, Yonkers, Flushing, and Brooklyn, and then in Ohio we've got three, so Columbus, Mayfield Heights, and Sharonville. Then in Pennsylvania, St. David's, and then Texas you got two, Houston, Dallas, and Virginia is Fairfax. So in total, across the entire United States of America, we have 25 stores, which is not a whole lot. But if you are in any of these states and are within, I would say, an hour trip with them, consider yourself lucky, because most people in the United States are going to have to end up buying stuff off of Amazon in order to get all of their stuff. So this is kind of why the video is titled "The Best Computers That No One Can Get," is because really there's a very few percent of people that can actually go to one of these stores and buy their computers. Now, I'm not trying to rub it in your guys' face, but I just want to show you how good of deals that they give on their computers. So Microcenter has an in-store kind of brand that they use, and it's called powerspec. They use it with a lot of their PC parts, so a lot of their power supplies are labeled that. They definitely have some other stuff, but mainly their computers are labeled as the powerspec brand, and they build all of these usually in-house. And man, dude, the prices on these computers are absolutely phenomenal. So we're going to take a look at one of their most popular ones that they released here, like I think it was probably about a month ago. Once the new Intel CPUs came out, they kind of came out and made a bunch of new gaming PCs, and this new one that we're going to be taking a look at, which is going to be this one right here, the G228, is definitely one of their best ones that they have come out with. Now, the only really bad thing about these computers is kind of the ketchup and mustard cables. They don't really look too great, but a lot of times if you are ending up buying a pre-built, it's kind of something that you can look past, and I would definitely look past it for the price. So this thing goes for $800 just straight up, and it's actually a super good gaming PC for $800. So in terms of specs, Microcenter makes it really nice to just sit down here and look at all the specs on the machine. So for our motherboard, we've got an ASRock B450 60M Pro AC. Now for our PC part picker list, I couldn't find that exact one. They didn't have it listed, so I just threw in a Bluetooth and wireless networking adapter with it, which is going to basically add $15 to the cost, but is basically going to account for the added cost that this motherboard would cost other than the regular B460M Pro. Now for our processor, we've got an Intel Core i5-10400F, a great processor. Just again, it just depends on the price that you can buy it for. It basically goes blow for blow against a 3600, which is the AMD's variant that they offer. And then we get 16 gigs of 2666 megahertz memory. Now this isn't as much as a big deal if you had a Ryzen chip, and especially on Intel right now, you can't go past 2933 megahertz. So having anything above 2666 just kind kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense with Intel right now, because again, they don't really benefit from higher memory speeds. Some applications do benefit from higher memory speeds just because that's how they function, but in terms of just the processor overall usage, you're really not going to see a whole lot of difference. Now for our storage, we got a 500GB NVMe M.2 drive, which is definitely great at this price point. And then for our graphics card, we've got a GTX 1660 Super. Everything else in here is actually pretty nice. We've got a 600 watt power supply. All of Microcenter's power supplies are certified. It just kind of depends on what tiering of certified you have. So since this is one of their lower end computers, I would probably assume that this is a 80 plus certified power supply. And so with that, again, it's not amazing, but again, it's definitely going to leave you enough headroom to make upgrades in the future. Now for our PC part picker list, we put together this one. So we've got all of the same stuff. We even included the RGB fans that are included on here. Again, these are addressable RGB fans that are on this case. And you can actually see it comes out to more than what this power spec is going to cost, which is kind of crazy because you usually expect for the PC power picker build to be about $100 or $200 less than what you're actually putting together. So it's just kind of crazy to think that you're saving money by buying it pre-built and getting like a warranty and all that stuff with it, compared to actually going out and building the whole thing yourself. Now some people might be like, well, the power supply is really expensive for that, and I actually probably could change that out, but I feel like that kind of mitigates the cost of Windows 10 keys, because this one does come with an activated version of Windows, whereas I haven't included anything like that. So your Windows key is actually going to vary depending on what you can get it from or where you can get it from. You can be paying anywhere from $5 to $20, or if you actually pay for the real one from Microsoft, you could be ending up paying around $70 to $100. And we excluded that because, again, some people are just going to not going to want a key. They can just use it with the watermark, and that's fine. So again, that's kind of crazy that their lowest NPC is actually way better than what you can sit down and build your own PC for, which is very, very uncommon in the PC pre-built space. Now let's take a look at their G706. So this is one of their mid-tier or higher end PCs. So this one is $1,400. And so let's just get into the specs of this computer. We've got a Ryzen 7 3700X. We've got 16 gigs of 3200 megahertz memory. We've got a 1TB M.2 drive, a RTX 2070 Super. Oh yeah, we didn't even take a look at the motherboard yet. I think it is a ASRock Pro 4. Now, we do not have wireless networking on this one. I made sure to check. You don't, and I really think that that makes sense, because usually on higher end PCs, you're going to be using a LAN port just to get that higher internet speeds. Now, this one is also water cooled. This has got a Cooler Master. I think it's a 240 millimeter cooler, and I think it is mounted at the top, which is really nice to see. Now, for our system builder, this is actually kind of the same story as the last one. For total price, we're going up to $1,430, whereas this one costs around $1,400, which again is kind of crazy. And these are all the same specs. Again, I didn't cherry pick any of these. These are all very average prices, or even low prices for similar stuff. You know, we got the 3700X, we've got a Cooler Master. Matt, this is the exact one that they have in there, actually. Exact same motherboard. I'm not 100% sure if this is the exact same RAM, but I know that they carry this in store a lot, and they push this out a pretty good amount. So I'm assuming that this is kind of what they're using, and that's around the same price that you're going to be buying at their store for. And then you got a 1TB NVMe solid state drive, the same case, power supply is roughly the same. I did forget to include case fans with this, and again, that's going to be added cost onto this compared to this PC. So yeah, you're going to be saving money, I guess, kind of across the board with this company. And so this is kind of a really sad thing to see. I would really like to have these guys be way more mainstream and be able to, like, you know, ship out these PCs to people who would really benefit from them. But I guess that's kind of what makes them what they are. They probably make a crap ton of money from being like one of the only retail stores that does this and sells probably the amount of PCs that they do. And these reviews are amazing because Microcenter is just one of those companies that really does prioritize their customer service, which is something that we really don't see a whole lot in the PC space. Now, we know companies who say that they prioritize it, but again, it's two different things by saying it or doing it. Like, Microcenter really does care about their customers. Now, I've had numerous encounters with them where there's been something that gone wrong, and they have gone out of their way to make sure to help me, to make sure everything went out right. So if anything would ever happen with one of these PCs, or somehow comes unexpected, or if it's just a problem that you don't know how to fix, you can literally just take it in. They've got a really cool area where you can just throw up your PC and then they'll have a guy literally sitting at that counter troubleshooting it for you. If you are under warranty, if it is a fault of the computer being built wrong, they will just cover it for free. I've even brought in laptops that aren't even theirs, and they've just been like, yeah, you know, we can just hook it up and see what's wrong. And then I'm like, yo, that's really cool. So I'm really sorry to those of you who can't go out and buy one of these computers. It really does suck, and I really hope that these guys will open up more stores around the United States, just because 25 is not a whole lot. That is half the amount of states that we have, and the distribution across states really isn't that great, and there's people everywhere who want to get good computers for good value. So yeah, guys, that's my little talk about Microcenter gaming PCs. Hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.